Well, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021, for those that might be watching this a few years from now. Any rate, we are continuing to work our way through the book of Acts. We are in the 13th chapter. Today we're going to look at verses 26 to 41. Yesterday we left off with Paul getting up in Antioch to give this sermon that he gives there. This is Paul's really the first recorded sermon that Paul's done in here. In Acts, and so it is pivotal, and it's the place where this exchange here, the last few days, is where Paul has kind of preempted Barnabas as being the leader of the group. But prior to this, it's really been Barnabas as being the front guy, and now it's become Paul. He's taken over. So let's take a look at this and see what we can work out of it. Acts 13:26 to 41. My brothers, you descendants of Abraham's family, and others who fear God, to us, the message of this salvation has been sent. Because the residents of Jerusalem and their leaders did not recognize him or understand the words of the prophets that are read every Sabbath, they fulfilled these words by condemning him. Even though they found no cause for a sentence of death, they asked Pilate to have him killed. When they had carried out everything that was written about him, they took him down from the tree and laid him in a tomb. But God raised him from the dead, and for many days he appeared to those who came up with him from Galilee to Jerusalem, and they are now his witnesses to the people. And we bring you the good news that what God promised to our ancestors, he has fulfilled for us, their children, by raising Jesus, as also it is written in the second Psalm, you are my son, today I have begotten you. Excuse me. As to his raising from the dead, no more to return to corruption, he has spoken in this way, I will give you the holy promises made to David. Therefore he has also said in another psalm, you will not let your Holy One experience corruption. For David, after he had served the purpose of God in his own generation, died, was laid beside his ancestors, and experienced corruption. But he whom God raised up experienced no corruption. Let it be known to you, therefore, my brothers, and through this man forgiveness of sins is proclaimed to you. By this Jesus, everyone who believes is set free from all those sins from which you could not be freed by the law of Moses. Beware, therefore, that what the prophets said does not happen to you. Look, you scoffers, be amazed and perish, for in your days I am doing a work that you will never believe, even if someone tells you. Okay. First of all, right out of the gate, he's talking to yesterday he went all the way back to the time of Moses. Here he jumps all the way back to Abraham, and he tucks in Abraham and then moves quickly to David. But Abraham, the descendants of Abraham, that would be the Jewish people he's talking to. But he's also at the synagogue, and as is his MO from here on out, is he's really looking at the God-fearers. The God-fearers are those Gentile people that are following the Jewish ways, but haven't really made the commitment yet to converting to Judaism. And that's where Paul and the whole circumcision thing starts becoming an issue. But he is talking to them as well. And he's talking about that the leaders, even though they taught every day, the scriptures every day in the synagogues, they didn't notice what they were doing fell right into the scriptures. That what they were doing with Jesus, that was exactly what they teaching about. They just couldn't see it. They were too close to it, is what happens. Oftentimes when we're in the middle of something, we don't see something, though, in their defense. And he goes on and he quotes a fair amount of scripture in this little bit of verses here. He deals with the second psalm, so that's Psalm 2, verse 7. And then he says, I will give you the holy promises made to David. Now, I think there's a number of different places where we could probably pull that one out of. The one where I see it at is in the 7th chapter of 2 Samuel. And then you will not let your Holy One experience corruption. That's Psalm 16, verse 10. And then at the very end, look, you scoffers, that's Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5. So he covers a lot of scripture there. He's kind of all over the place. He's got the Psalms, he's got Samuel, and probably some others. And probably could find that in Isaiah as well. I'm guessing I didn't look for it there. But also Habakkuk. And Habakkuk's kind of an interesting one to pull something out of. But there it is. So he's quoted a lot of scripture to them, and he's basically scolding them that you guys should have known better. As I said, you guys taught this. You should have been aware of this. You should have seen the signs, but they didn't, and they followed right along, and they did did what they did. But the bottom line of this is the message in here is the gospel. The gospel, of course, is the good news. And the good news is this, is in verse 38. Let it be known to you, therefore, my brothers, that through this man forgiveness of sins is proclaimed to you. By this Jesus, everyone who believes is set free from all sins, from which you could not be freed by the law of Moses. So that's the real message here. That's the gist of the whole thing. That's the crutch, is that 2 verses right there. All right, that's verses 38 and 39 here in Acts chapter 13, if you want to look that up. So that's what we want to hold on to today. That's where we're going to go for till tomorrow, and we'll look at he's going to be done here, and they're going to continue on with him there, though, and we'll see what the reaction is to the rest of the Jews and in this village for him. So with that, I'm going to let you go, and I apologize. My voice is still not right, and my head's still stuffed up. I'm hoping that I can get over this soon. So have a very blessed day, and be a blessing to someone today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.